recruiting back there that can help Arizona?
I just think there's a level of talent that Arizona's got a brand. We have a brand that sells itself across the country, and I think, our job is to just go find the best players that we can find. And there's been a history of out of Arizona and out of California is where the majority of the kids have come out of at this point. But I think being from back east, I just know that there was a drive to catch the schools from out west. I just know that, when I was coaching at the travel ball level, that was one of the things I always talked about, like proving that we could play with the teams out here. And I just think it's, the popularity of the sport's grown. There's just a lot of the weather in some of those places that they were playing basketball, Georgia, Florida, they're playing, year round now. And so, I think for us, it's just a matter of like, let's just go find the best players and let's don't pigeonhole ourselves into certain pockets. And we know where our fundamental base is, but we also want to be open to just finding those kids on the East Coast who have always maybe dreamed of an Arizona and letting them know that now, the talent level is there, that we can bring you in and show you the great facilities and the program. And I just think at the end, find the best players that fit our culture, what we're trying to do here. Continue to kind of grow the game here. But as the game grows on the East Coast, let's find those best players and bring them in here.
So when you were brought on to Arizona, can you just give us the background? When did Caitlin reach out to you and how did that come about?
It was towards the end of the season. The season got over and, we had, see you ladies. We had finished the season and Kate just reached out and, I think with the change into the third assistant, obviously made some things open for different programs, and obviously the school committing to having that third assistant. She reached out and just sort of gauged interest. On my end, it was a place that, this is like my year 27 of coaching softball. And so when 27 years ago, you're thinking about it, and it was, Coach Candrea and watching those teams come up, and you kind of watch and you kind of learn from the things that they were doing. So it was kind of a place that, if they ever called, you want to listen. And then there were just some logistics, of does it make a fit for my family, married and I have 2 boys. Is it just something that the whole thing fits? And then talking with Kate and listening to what her vision for the program was and what I thought, I wanted to maybe contribute to the program and LAP and Christian, and just kind of everything kind of fell into pieces that the way I wanted it to. And so really, truly, once we got talking, it was just kind of like, if we can make it work, let's make this work. And so I'm thrilled to be here. I'm excited about the year. I'm excited about what we're going to do this year and in the upcoming years to come.
What was your summer like?
Yeah, it was crazy a little bit. It was interesting because we made the initial move from Kentucky to North Carolina, and then from North Carolina to South Carolina, and then to here. It was crazy, but it was the easiest move in terms of finding a place to live and finding schools and, getting acquainted with the area. So that stuff, it was kind of like, oh, this is kind of meant to be. But, anytime you're moving across the country and then, you're waiting till July 1 so you can go out recruiting. So we had family things planned. So it was, my wife is a planner. So they were out, the boys, they were taking like a 10-day trip, and I was packing the house. And then July 1 hits and I'm headed on the road immediately to recruit. And then, we were up in California recruiting nationals, and Aaron and the boys are driving 28 hours across town with the boys. So it was crazy, but it's been great. We've enjoyed it already since we've been here. It feels like home.
What's something that you guys have done that kind of stands out about you so far?
Well, it's hot. But I think the biggest thing is we were driving down the road, my son and I, and we live kind of east of campus. And I just think it's just the views. The sunsets are amazing. Every night's a different one. We walk at night. You look up and just the scenery of the mountains. And, I asked him, I said, do you think we'll ever just kind of look up and take for granted like our scenery? He's like, I don't know. He goes, it's pretty amazing to watch. And I hear the winters are awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. I just think one of the other things is it's got a small town kind of feel to it, but it's pretty developed. Like you can kind of do anything we want to do. Like we've made the trip to Phoenix because my boys play hockey, but when we come back, there's everything we would want to do is kind of here, but it's just got a small town feel in terms of it's not fast paced, which is kind of nice for us.
You miss greenery?
I think what we probably miss was just water a little bit. Like we like going to the lake, but no, it's been really good. Like we like to be outdoors. We like when driving's no big issue for us. So there's greenery within a drivable distance. So yeah,
Yeah, I lived in Kentucky for a short time when I was real little, so
Yeah.
I remember how green it is there.
it is green. It is green. I will say that the heat is different. It is. I will say once it gets above 105, I don't care if it's dry or wet. It's 105. But 90s today, it's different. Like 90 back in Kentucky is just a different feel. Like you feel like you need to put a life jacket on. It's so wet. So it's a little bit better here.
So when you look at the lineup and the
Yeah.
talent you guys have coming back, what
Yeah.
stood out to you, when you took the job, and what are you excited about getting started?
I think you look at the offense and it's like, top 5, top 10 in the country in several categories, runs scored, and, the defense played really well behind us. I look at the lineup, and today was our first day of individuals, and so we got them in there swinging. To me, it's just an explosive lineup. I mean, I think we're gonna run balls out of the park, but we're really athletic, and so I think we're gonna increase the stolen bases. We're gonna play a little bit more aggressive, I think, on the base paths. Our goals. Honestly, I told Kate when I talked, we're going to break the school record this year in stolen bases. So 137 is our goal to break this. I just think we have talent. We're going to push the envelope. We're going to put pressure. We're going to make other teams kind of feel that pressure, play fast, and play with some tempo. And at the same time, we've clearly got kids that can drive the ball out of the park. But the most important stat in a game is runs scored. Like in the end, that's the one. As long as our number is bigger than their number, and there are going to be days where we're going to need to score 2, and there's going to be days maybe where we need to score 6 or 7. That's the game. And so I think what I like is that we're equipped to do whatever we need to do to win on that particular day.
That's kind of exciting to hear. Every year we wonder if there's going to be more stolen bases because this hasn't been a thing for Arizona in several years.
Yeah, it will be. Like I think last year we ended up at my previous school. I think we were top 10 in the country in stolen bases, and I would say that the talent level is clearly on par with what I had. And we had 120 last year. And so I think part of it is just a mindset of playing aggressive. We're gonna play offensively, just even within the box when we're hitting. We're gonna play aggressively. We're gonna swing aggressively. We're okay with swinging and missing. Like I was talking to them today about just kind of how you approach your at bats needs to be from a place of aggression. It's called offense for a reason. You have to be on the offense, and so that's the mindset we're gonna take. We're gonna try to turn singles into doubles. If our stolen bases don't reach that, I hope it's because we just hit a whole lot more doubles and we didn't have a chance to steal as many bases. But, I think sometimes people give too much credit to the other side and the plays they're going to make. We're going to make them make those plays consistently to get us out. So, I'm sure people will say, like, there'll be plenty of why in the world did he send them at times, but we're going to play aggressive and we're going to run ourselves into innings. And there will be the times where we potentially run ourselves out of them. That's just what comes with it.
Why do you think that style has become maybe less popular, less seen around the country with top teams, where before it was the way teams played a lot, and now it's...
Yeah, I don't know. I think Utah, you look at Utah last year, they played really aggressive. I think, that's kind of what got them, put the ball in play, put pressure on the defense. I think, but I think at the same time, you look at some teams and it's, if they're running the ball out of the park a ton, like they're not willing to risk the out to do that. And look, you're not going to steal every single time. You got to realize who's at the plate and what's the situation. For me, it's just more fun to play in a style like that. It's more fun to watch. I think the players enjoy playing in that instead of going base to base. So, I think it's a brand that's attractive to kids to watch. So when you're out recruiting, it's like, we're not just saying we're going to do this, like we're doing this, like watch us, we're going to play aggressive. You're going to, one of my things is like, make as many mistakes as you want. Just don't make the same one twice. And so you're going to see in the fall, like when we play, like our kids are going to be a little bit like, oh, you wanted me to go. Yes. Let's kind of push the envelope so that you understand what this is. Like, to me, we got a Maserati that we're driving. Like, we're not going to go in the 35-mile-an-hour zone with it. We're going to put it on the interstate and we're going to let it open up.
you see someone like Dakota Kennedy, who
Yeah.
can, she can put down that bunter, she can drive it out.
Yep.
That's the kind of player you want to see that from, right?
Yeah, I think she was one of the first kids watching film. Like, she's just a special talent. She's a great kid. But I think you look at her and it's like, if you want to play back for her driving the ball, then like she's just going to beat you in front. And if you're worried about that, then she's just going to drive the ball to the gap. And so the more options you have, the harder it is to defend somebody. And so, knowing that they can steal bases, but them never actually doing it doesn't really put any stress on a team. And so when you're worried about a team stealing bases, all of a sudden now your catchers are worried about getting ready to throw a ball. All of a sudden, maybe now they're coming out of their position a little bit sooner. So now a pitch that maybe they were working to get a strike, now you're not getting the strike. So now all of a sudden they're trying to pitch out because they think all that stuff just goes into leveraging for our hitters. So they think we're stealing. They throw a pitch out. Now my hitter's 1-0. And now they're coming back into a 1-0 count. They don't want to go 2-0. So there's just a lot that goes into that, and that just puts a lot of pressure on the other side. And so I think Dakota's one. I think there's a lot of players. I think it's really cool and neat to kind of sit around and talk to the kids that are on that left side and can play the small ball and can play the slap game. I think every single one of them, we're going to find out, has the ability to also use a power game in some form. It may not be sitting down and swinging away. It may be the power slap, but I would say that it's going to be nice to watch all of them kind of be three-tool players.
Like Jazz, she seems like she can do that.
It's funny. Like, we actually just morning that she talked, she said, like, I just want to add that other piece this year too. And I said, well, we'll get to work on it and we'll get that taken care of. So yeah, it's an exciting group. Like, they're super athletic. I'm going to be exciting to watch them just going to compete. They've been already, like, they're really open to thinking about some things in a different way. And it's been a pleasure to be here and work with them. And I'm excited.
You mentioned you've been around softball 27 years.
Yeah.
So you've seen the Pac-12, UCLA, Arizona. This year being the final year, just your thoughts of the conference pretty much disbanding.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because having come from the Southeastern Conference, I was excited about being a part of the Pac. I've always said, I just think if you looking at the results, it was clear that the Pac was never taking a back seat to any other conference. I think there's potentially been some more money in maybe some of those other conferences that has made them kind of rise in terms of the national image of them, but clearly the brand is the brand. So, I think it's a little upsetting to kind of see, the tradition that was within the Pac-12 kind of be lost after this year. At the same time, I'm really excited about the opportunity to be in the Big 12 and what that's going to do for us, and, how that's going to maybe grow the program in terms of, the media and all the things that are going to come with that. And, I think it'll be interesting. You'll make some new rivalries. You'll be in a different part of the country, and there's going to be good softball in the Big 12. So I'm excited about that as well.